Alright friends, what's happening? Welcome back to Babel on Talmud. Today we're studying Daf 11, Daf Yud Aleph of Masechta Berachos. We're going to start on Daf Yud Amud Beis, about 4 lines from the bottom at the Mishnah. Today's Daf, a cool note about today's Daf is that it's actually significantly shorter than the Dafs of the last few days. So that's cool. At the same time, it's shorter because it's a little bit more complicated, which is why there's more Rashi and Tosfos and stuff like that. Actually, may as well, once I mention Rashi and Tosfos, just a quick note in case anybody's wondering. On the page of the Gemara, right, there's the commentaries on both sides, on either side of the Gemara. So the commentary on the inside side part of the page is Rashi, and on the outside of the page is Tosfos, in case anybody was wondering. Okay, let's get started with the Mishnah. So Yud Amud Beis at the Mishnah, 4 lines from the bottom of the page. Beis Shammai Omer Ba'erev Kol Adam Yata V'Yikra. Right? So Beis Shammai says that you actually, it's like a role play kind of thing, right? That at night, when you read Kriyat Shema, you actually have to lie down, okay? Uvaboker Ya'amot. And in the morning, you have to be standing when you read Kriyat Shema. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, Uv'shoch b'cha uv'kumecha. When you lie down and when you get up. Okay, so at night you have to actually be lying down, and during the day you have to actually be standing up. Whereas Beis Hillel says that everybody can read however the heck they want. They want to stand, great. They want to sit, great. Whatever you want. You want to do something else, also fine. As the pasuk says, as you're walking on your way, right? And Rashi says, Kedarko, Ovekima, Obeshchiva, Obiyeshiva, Omahalech. Right? Standing, lying, sitting, walking, however you want. I guess it's just like when you're walking on your way. Like you could be doing anything while you're walking on your way. Okay? Well, Beis Hillel, if that's the case, then what do we do with the words Uv'shoch b'cha uv'kumecha if it doesn't mean when you're lying down and when you're standing up? So he answers, B'sha'ah shebnei adam shochvim u'b'sha'ah shebnei adam omdim. No, that's easy. It means that when is the time to read Kriyat Shema? During the time when people are lying down, i.e., at night, essentially, right? And during the time when people are getting up, which is during the day. Amar b'tarfon, says Rabbi Tarfon, Aniya yisi baba derech, I was taka traveling, right, on a road somewhere. V'teisi l'kros k'divrei Beis Shammai, and it was time to read Kriyat Shema. So he said, you know what? It's fine. I'm not in that much of a rush. I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to lie down. I'm going to read like Beis Shammai. Why not? V'sakanti ba'atzmi mipnei halistim, and by doing that, I endangered my life because there were thieves and all sorts of not nice people there that could have actually caused me harm. Amrulo, and they said to Rabbi Tarfon, Kidaya yisa lachu ba'atzmecha shavarta divrei Beis Hillel. You deserved it. You deserved it because you transgressed the words of Beis Hillel, which is very, very cool, right? There's that thing that, a voice came out of heaven and said that we always paskin like Beis Hillel, right? And we take that very seriously, because at the end of the day, we have to, be establishing laws for people to follow. And if we've decided that we go like Beit Hillel, so that's what we do. There's no like going like Beis Shammai. It creates ambiguity, right? So they said, you know what? You're right that you harmed yourself by going like Beis Shammai, because we hold like Beis Hillel, and that's that, right? We need to keep things kind of objective and clear. Moving on to the Gemara. I'm on board with Beis Hillel. I get it. They explain their reasoning. You can read however you want because it says B'lech Chavaderech. They answer for Beis Shammai, who argues based on B'shoch b'cha uv'kumecha, and Beis Hillel says, yeah, it's okay. B'shoch b'cha uv'kumecha means essentially at night and during the day. Cool. El Beis Shammai, my time alo amrik Beis Hillel. So how come Beis Shammai doesn't say like Beis Hillel, right? Meaning, what do they do with B'lech Chavaderech, essentially, right? They say B'shoch b'cha uv'kumecha means you have to lie down and you have to get up. What do they do with B'lech Chavaderech? Where the part where Beis Hillel learns that you can read it however you want. So Amilach Beis Shammai, no problem. Beis Shammai says, if it was like Beis Hillel, that you can just read it however you want, Im kein nemakra baboker va'erev, right? Oh, sorry, no. If it was like Beis Hillel's explanation that B'shoch b'cha uv'kumecha means at night and during the day, so the pasuk could have easily have just said baboker va'erev. You read Kriyat Shema at night and read Kriyat Shema during the day. My b'shoch b'cha uv'kumecha. So what does it mean when you're lying down and when you're getting up? B'shah shchiva mamish. At night, which is the time of lying down, you actually have to be lying down. B'shah kima mamish, right? And when you're getting up, right, meaning Kriya Shema of the day, right, you actually have to be getting up. Uveis Hillel, hi uvlechtecha baderech, Uveis Shammai, okay, zeu. So Beis Shammai explained, defended their explanation of b'shach b'cha uvkumecha, meaning that you actually have to be sleeping and you actually have to be standing. But still, there's an unanswered question according to Beis Shammai, which is, what do they do with belechtecha baderech, which is where Beis Hillel learns out how you can be reading it however you want. So Beis Shammai, hi uvlechtecha baderech, my avadehu. What do they do with belechtecha baderech? So hahu mibai lehu lechidetanya. They say no problem. We have a brisa, and this brisa learns stuff out from belechtecha baderech, and we just learn out the same thing that brisa learns out, which is what? B'shivtecha b'veisecha, that when the pasuk says that you read Kriya Shema when you're sitting in your house, prat le'oseg b'mitzvah, to the exclusion of somebody who's doing a mitzvah, right? So let's say you're building your sukkah or something, you don't have to stop what you're doing to read Kriyas Shema, right? But if you're sitting at home drinking tea in the evening and just kind of chilling out at the end of the day, yes, you would read Kriyas Shema. Uvlechtecha baderech prat lechasen. And belechtecha baderech means to the exclusion of a chasen who just got married, so that entire first night he does not need to read Kriyas Shema. And Rashi says that, meaning from belechtecha baderech, b'shivtecha b'veisecha already teaches me that somebody who's osek b'mitzvah, somebody who's busy with a mitzvah, is pater from reading Kriyas Shema. So why do I need uvelechtecha baderech to teach me that a chasen is pater from Kriyas Shema? He just got married. Isn't he being osek b'mitzvah? So he says because the chasen, it's more in his head, right? Right. Meaning, why is the chasen pater from reading Kriyas Shema? Because after all, he's pater from reading Kriyas Shema the entire first night, right? If I'm building my sukkah, so while I'm building my sukkah, I'm pater from reading Kriyas Shema. But after that, if I finish and it's still nighttime, of course I still read Kriyas Shema. Yet we're saying that when somebody gets married on that first night, even though he's actually only sleeping with his wife for however long he's doing that, and yet he's pater for the entire night, right? So it's more than just the actual mitzvah. It's the whole distraction, right? We use the lashon of tirda, right? It's in his head. It's his machshava. It's his tirda, and that is so. Therefore, I may have thought that, well, it's just in his head. He could still read Kriyas Shema. So therefore, we needed a separate limud from belechtecha baderech to teach me that he is pater the entire night. Okay, very good. Now, mikan amru, and from here they said, and by the way, so we see that we learn out from belechtecha baderech that a chasen is pater from reading Kriyas Shema on the first night of his wedding, and that is what Beis Shammai responds to Beis Hillel, that's what we do with belechtecha baderech. Okay, mikan amru, and from here they said hakonis es habesula pater ves almana chayv, and we're gonna explain what this means, right? So from here they said, from the fact that we say that belechtecha baderech means that a chasen is pater from reading Kriyas Shema the first night of his marriage. So from there they learn that somebody who marries a besula, somebody who marries somebody who has not yet been married before, is pater from reading Kriyas Shema, whereas a almana, somebody who's been married before, a widow, would be chayiv to read Kriyas Shema. And we're going to explain why a besula, which is generally defined as a virgin, but I assume that for here it essentially means somebody who's getting married for the first time, probably also because the assumption in the Gemara is that if she's getting married for the first time, she's probably never slept with a dude before. But okay, we're going to explain this stuff in a few minutes. My mashma. So the Gemara says, where do we learn this out? And Rashi says, my mashma prat le'oseg b'mitzvah. Okay, very good. So how do we learn out that b'shivtecha b'veisecha, right, means that you read Kriyas Shema when you're sitting in your house, but not if you are doing a mitzvah. Okay, and the next Rashi also says ki derech b'shivtecha uvelechtecha hukshul derech. Right, it says in the pasuk b'shivtecha b'veisecha uvelechtecha vaderech. Okay, so generally I would read that pasuk and say, okay, b'shivtecha b'veisecha, when you're reading in your house, when you're sitting in your house, uvelechtecha vaderech, and when you're walking on the way. But the Gemara is comparing both b'shivtecha and uvelechtecha to derech, okay? Right? That when you're sitting, it's compared to derech, and when you're walking, it's compared to derech. We're going to see in a second what that means. So Amar Rav Papa says, Rav Papa ki derech. So we compare b'shivtecha to derech. Ma derech rishus avkol rishus. Okay, that just like derech, when I'm going on the way, it implies it's my own choice. You know, I'm doing my own stuff. Okay, so just like derech is rishus, so I'm chayav to read Kriyat Shema whenever I'm just kind of on my own way, doing my own thing. Okay. However, if I was doing a mitzvah, so then I would be pater from the mitzvah. So now, the Gemara asks, but one second, Milo askinan tika azul dvar mitzvah vafilu hachi amar achman likre, right? But one second, can it even be talking about right b'shivtecha, and we're saying baderech? Maybe you're on your way to go do a mitzvah. Maybe you're on your way to offer your korban pesach or something like that. Maybe you're on your way to doing a mitzvah, and the Torah is still saying that you have to read Kriyat Shema even when you're on your way to do a mitzvah. So the Gemara answers no. Imkein lichtov rachmana b'sheves uvleches. Right? No, if it was just talking about any kind of way, including a way to a mitzvah, that you're on your way to do a mitzvah, then it would say b'sheves v'veisecha whatever uvleches baderech. Right? My b'shivtecha uvlechtecha. What does it mean when you are sitting, or your own sitting and your own walking? B'sheves didach uvleches didach hudmechayeves. You're chayav to read Kriyat Shema when you're just kind of sitting around doing your own thing, right? Or you're going on your own way. The mitzvah ptiras. But if you have a chiyuv to do a mitzvah, then you would be pater to read Kriyat Shema. Okay. So ihachi afilu kole kones esa amana nami. So now the Gemara says, if we are saying that a chassan is pater from reading Kriyat Shema on the night of his wedding, right? Because his thoughts are elsewhere. He just got married, right? He's with his wife now for the first night, so he's distracted. Okay, and because he's distracted, we give him a free pass from Kriyat Shema for the entire first night. So if so, then afilu kones es ha'amonanami. So why should he be, if he's distracted? So he's also distracted when he marries a widow, keilu, right? They decided that they want to get married. They're very excited. Who cares that she's a widow? It's the first night of their wedding. So he should also be pater from reading Kriyat Shema. So he says, hay tarid v'hay lo tarid. He says, no, there's a difference. When it comes to Besula, I guess there's more, she's never been with a guy before. It's more like, it's more overwhelming, I guess. It's more thought-consuming, right, than in Almana, where it's not necessarily a completely new experience. And therefore, because it's not completely overwhelming his consciousness, so there is some room there for him to be able to focus for a second on Kriyat Shema when she is a widow. However, if it's a Besula, somebody getting married for the first time, so then it would be a much more intense, I guess, experience emotionally, and he wouldn't be reading Kriyat. He would be pater from Kriyat Shema that night. So the Gemara says, okay, imishum tirda, if the whole thing is that, whenever your mind is completely consumed with other thoughts, so then you're pater from reading Kriyat Shema, so then afilu tavas finaso bayam. Well then, even if his ship is sinking, right? Let's say he's got a ship and he's got a whole bunch of merchandise on that ship, and he's sending it out to go do business somewhere, and it's sinking right before his eyes. There is no way he's going to be able to focus on Kriyat Shema. So let's say, right, afilu tavas finaso bayam nami. Let's say that in that case he's also pater from reading Kriyat Shema because he just can't focus. So v'chitei malchinami, if you're going to say, yep, that's true. Somebody whose ship is sinking is also going to be pater from reading Kriyat Shema because he can't focus. But that's not true. Alamu amar Rabbi Abba bar Zavda amar Rab. Then why did Rabbi Abba bar Zavda say in the name of Rab? Avel chayv b'chol hamitzvos amuros b'torah chutz min hatefillin. Right? Rabbi Abba bar Zavda said that a mourner, somebody who is mourning the loss of a relative, right? So he is required to do every single mitzvah in the Torah. There's one mitzvah that he doesn't do. That is where he doesn't wear tefillin. Sharei nemar b'hem pe'er. Because by tefillin it says pe'er. It says that they are a glorious thing. And a avel, a person who is mourning, is not somebody who is who is in a glorious state. 1 second, give me a second. Yeah, exactly. And therefore he doesn't read. Therefore he doesn't wear tefillin. But everything, right? And then, sorry, let me just read on for a second. Shenamar pe'ercha, I think it's pe'ercha, not pe'er. Wow, yeah. Pe'ercha chavosh alecha. This is a pasuk by Yirmiyah. Hashem tells Yirmiyahu that he's going to kill his wife, but that he wants Yirmiyahu not to show any signs of mourning. And one of the things he says is, I want you to put on your tefillin. That implies that other avelim don't put on tefillin. However, what's important to us is that all other mitzvos an avel is chayav in. So the question is, so that includes Kriyat Shema. So the question is, well, he's certainly distracted by the fact that a close relative has just died, and yet we're saying you have to read Kriyat Shema. So therefore, just like an avel reads Kriyat Shema, also somebody whose ship is sinking reads Kriyat Shema, and therefore I'll say that a chassan on the first night of his wedding should also have to read Kriyat Shema. So the Gemara answers, Hasan tarid tirda de mitzvah, hacha tarid tirda de rishus. There's a difference. That a chassan on the first night of his wedding, yeah, he's very distracted, but he's distracted. The source of his distraction is a mitzvah. The source of your distraction when your ship is sinking, or even when a relative dies, is not a mitzvah. It's a sort of reality of life. Somebody died, your ship is sinking, but that's not going to be a reason to say that you don't read Kriyat Shema. But a chassan whose distraction is rooted in a mitzvah, so then he will be pater from Kriyat Shema. Very cool. Now, there isn't really a very nice way to read the next two lines of Gemara until the two dots, so I'm going to read it like the Agos Habach reads it, okay? So if you find the Agos Habach, that little Rashi Aleph with the parentheses on either side of it, in my Gemara it's on the right margin. I don't know where it is in your Gemara, but he basically says, the way to read it is like this, right? Beis Hillel haksiv b'shivtecha b'veisecha uvlechtecha v'derech lamali, right? So according to Beis Hillel, what does he do with essentially this brisa? Right, we just learned out some pretty elaborate stuff about somebody who's oseg b'mitzvah is going to be pater from Kriyat Shema. Chassan is pater from Kriyat Shema. How does he learn this stuff? Or if he learns this stuff out from b'shivtecha b'veisecha v'lech chavaderech, then how does he also use b'lech chavaderech to teach that you can read however which way you like? So Beis Hillel answers right before the two dots in the Gemara. Beis Hillel amri memela shma mina dafilu baderech nami kari, right? And Rashi says, "V'esil amilach nihinami dekra lemedrash minei prat lechasin asa memela shmamina belechas tidachu dimachayebes ama baderech nami kari." Right. So he's saying, look, belech baderech. If you just translate it literally, it means that as you're going on your way, you can read Kriyat Shema, which means you can read however you want. Sure, we also have a drasha, a more fancy thing about a chassan being pater from reading Kriyat Shema on his wedding night. That's fine. But belech chavaderech, you can't escape, right? Ein davar yotzei midei pshuto. Something doesn't leave its simple explanation, which is that you read Kriyat Shema when you're walking on your way. And that's going to be however you are walking. Okay, very good, very good. All right, that's machlokas b'sham Beis Hillel. So check this out. Okay, I had this thought. Let's see if I could pull it off. But I had this thought that the next few lines of the Gemara could totally be a children's book. If anybody wants to write a children's book about reading Kriyat Shema, you can totally do it. I give you the rights. You don't have to give me any credit or anything like that. You can take it and go with it. So Tanu Rabbanan, Beis Hillel Omrim, Omdin v'korin, Yoshvin v'korin, Umatin v'korin, Holchem baderech v'korin, Osin b'mlachtan v'korin, and that's basically where the book ends. But it would be a good few pages of a children's book, I think, right? Like basically like this, let's call it a little dude like Shloimele, right? So Shloimele stands and he reads Kriyat Shema. Okay, you see him standing. Okay, next page. Yoshvin v'korin. Shloimele also sits and he reads Kriyat Shema. Okay, next page. Umatin v'korin. he reads Kriyat Shema when he's lying down, and of course he's like lying in bed. Holchim baderech v'korin, and he also reads Kriyat Shema when he's going to school or something like that, when he's walking on his way, right? Osim b'malachtim v'korin, then you see him like with a Bob the Builder's kind of costume, and he's doing work, of course, and he's reading Kriyat Shema. Okay, I don't know. Would you buy that book? Of course, right? Teach the kids about Kriyat Shema. Anyways, so basically Beis Hillel says that you can read, right, standing, sitting, leaning, walking, doing work, great. Now, Umaisa Rabbi Yishmael, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, this part could also, by the way, theoretically be part of the book, whatever, but I'm done with the book, let's go weiter, we got stuff to do. Umaisa Rabbi Yishmael, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. There was a story with Rabbi Yishmael and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, that they were eating together at a restaurant, whatever it was. Rabbi Yishmael muta. Rabbi Yishmael was lying down. He was leaning, right? Because that was also sort of, I think, I understand to be more accepted back then. They would like lean, lie down when they ate. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah zakuf. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was sitting, regularly. I guess like I am right now, if you're watching the video. Kevin shegia zman kriyat shema hita Rabbi Elazar v'zakav Rabbi Yishmael. And then when came time to read Kriyat Shema, something interesting happened. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, who was sitting up, he all of a sudden lied down, reminiscent of Rabbi Beis Shammai's opinion. V'zakav Rabbi Yishmael, and at which point Rabbi Yishmael, who was lying until this point, now stood up. Now sat up. Okay. Amar Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Rabbi Yishmael. So now Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, who just lied down to be like Beis Shammai, said to Rabbi Yishmael, let me tell you a parable to what this is similar to, and it's kind of funny. It's like somebody, they said to this dude, wow, you have such a beautiful beard. It is so long. He said to them, he says, okay, and I'm going to cut it off now. Like the guy complimented him for his beard, so he says, okay, I'm going to cut it off, right? So the connection here being, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah said, it's so weird. Up until now, you were lying down, and then when I just lied down, you sat up. What's the deal? So afkach. Oh, there you go. So the Gemara even explains it. Afkach ata. It's the same thing with you. Kozman shani zakuf ata muta. As long as I'm sitting regularly, sitting up, you're lying down. Achtok shani hitesi ata zakafta. All of a sudden, I lie down. I was like, oh, that's such a good idea. Let me lie down. You're like, okay, I'm going to sit up. Amar lo. So Rabbi Yishmael responded to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Ani asisi k'divrei Beis Hillel, v'ata asisa k'divrei Beis Shammai. All right, Rabbi Yishmael got very serious, and he says, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, you did like Beis Shammai, I did like Beis Hillel. V'lo od, and not only that, el Hashem yiru atamidim v'yikbu halacha l'doros. Right? What if the students see what just happened? Right? Imagine if I would stay lying down, and you would be lying down, and one of the students saw us, and we're both lying down and reading Kriyat Shema. What would they say? They would say, "Oh, we paskin like Beis Shammai by Kriyat Shema, and we have to lie down. We say Kriyat Shema, and that's what they're going to do." And there'll be a huge mess because we don't paskin like Beis Shammai, we paskin like Beis Hillel, as we remember from the story of Rabbi Tarfon, that they said, "Of course you endangered yourself, and you deserve to be endangered because you did like Beis Shammai." We're very serious about paskin like Beis Hillel and not like Beis Shammai. Now the Gemara says, "My velo od." Why did he need to, sort of back up his statement of, he said, you did like Beis Shammai and I'm doing like Beis Hillel. And then he said, not only that, what if the students saw? So what was this not only that thing? So v'chi tema Beis Hillel nami islehu matin. Right? Because if Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, you're going to want to respond, but yeah, I didn't technically do like Beis Shammai. Beis Hillel also says that you can, lie down. Right? It's like, I just satisfied everybody. I thought I was doing the greatest thing. I'm satisfying Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, because Beis Hillel says I can read however I want. Beis Shammai says you have to lie down. So I basically did like both, right? So Rabbi Elazar is saying, Hanimili de mateh ve'asa meikara. Yeah, Beis Hillel would say that you can read Kriyat Shema lying down if you're already lying down. You don't have to sit up or anything. Just read it lying down. But over here, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, kevin dat hashta haviyazakuf. Since until now you were sitting up straight, the hashta muta, and all of a sudden now, when it comes to Zman Kriyat Shema, you're leaning. Amre, the students are going to say, Shma mina ke Beis Shammai svirlehu. It must be that these rabbis are holding like Beis Shammai. Shemayura tamidim vikbu halach ledoros. The students maybe will see and say that this is what the halach is, that we hold like Beis Shammai. So therefore, I got to sit up to make it clear that no, we don't agree that the halacha is like Beis Shammai. Tani Rabbi Cheskel, also Kedive Beis Shammai, also Kedive Beis Hillel, also. Rabbi Cheskel says, if you did like Beis Shammai and you lie down, very nice. If you did like Beis Hillel and you read it however you wanted, also very nice. Rav Yosef Amar also Kedive Beis Shammai le'asaf lo klum. Oh, so Rav Yosef says he's a little bit more strict. He says no. If you did like Beis Shammai, you did absolutely nothing. You have to get up and read Kriyat Shema, not lying down. Titnan, as we learn in a Mishnah. This is from Sukkah. If you have a guy who he was sitting in a sukkah, but the table that he was eating on, right, was in his house, right? So basically, I don't know, he's got a sliding door from his kitchen, puts his table right like by the door, and so he's eating at the table, yet he's in his sukkah, but his table is in his house, okay? Beis Shammai postin, Beis Shammai says that's puzzle, no good, you're not yotzei the mitzvah of sukkah. Beis Hillel machshirin, Beis Hillel says, no, cool, it's all good, no problem, he's sitting in his sukkah. Amulam Beis Hillel Beis Shammai. So now Beis Hillel said to Beis Shammai, Ma'aseh shalchu ziknei Beis Shammai v'ziknei Beis Hillel levaker es Rabbi Yochanan ben Achoranis. Right, so Beis Hillel said to Beis Shammai, there was actually once a story where the elders of Beis Shammai and the elders of Beis Hillel went to visit Rabbi Yochanan ben Achoranis, or maybe it's ben Achornis, I don't know, maybe someone can tell me, on Sukkot. And they found that he was sitting in his sukkah and his table was in his house. Exactly the situation. And they didn't say anything to him. I.e., it's Beis Hillel's trying to argue that Beis Shammai would agree with that. Apparently, the elders of Beis Shammai had no problem with their opinion that you are allowed to sit in your sukkah and every table in your house. So Beis Shammai. The Beis Shammai responded to Beis Hillel, no, Misham Raya, are you seriously trying to bring a proof from that story? Afe mamrulo. Of course they said something to Rabbi Yochanan Achoranis. Imken ayisa noeg lo kiyamta mitzvah sukkah miyamecha. Beis Shammai said, of course our elders said something to Rabbi Yochanan Achoranis. They said, if this is seriously how you've been doing the mitzvah of sukkah every single year, your entire life, that you sit in your sukkah and your table in your house, you have never been mekayim the mitzvah of sukkah your entire life. Oh, so what Rav Yosef is saying is just like over there, Beis Shammai said that if you did like Beis Hillel, you haven't been yotzei at all. So Rav Yosef is saying over here that the opposite, that if you did like Beis Shammai and you lie down to read Kriyat Shema, you have not done anything whatsoever. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak Amar, says Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, also Kedive Beis Shammai chayev misa. If you do like Beis Shammai, you are chayev to die. Based on what? Based on our Mishnah. The Tanan, Amar B'Tarfon ani ayisi baba derech v'teisi l'kros Kedive Beis Shammai v'sakanti b'atzmi v'pnei listim amru lo kedai ayisi l'chov b'atzmicha she'avarta al Kedive Beis Hillel. From our Mishnah, right, where Rabbi Tarfon said that one time I was traveling, I decided I would lie down to do like Beis Shammai, and I endangered myself, and they said, of course, you deserve to be endangered. You deserve to even, if you would have gotten killed, you would have been deserved, or at least that's how Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak is learning it. It would have been appropriate because you violated the words of Beis Hillel to do like Beis Shammai. New Mishnah. So we've referenced this in the past, right? That in the morning you read, there are two mitzvos preceding Kriyat Shema. There are two brachos preceding Kriyat Shema. There's one bracha after Kriyat Shema. The brachas before are yotzei me'orot and abocher b'amo Yisrael be'ava, and afterwards is going to be Go'al Yisrael. And at night there are two brachas beforehand and two brachas afterwards, right? Hamari v'aravim and Ohev Amo Yisrael beforehand, and Go'al Yisrael and Shomer Amo Yisrael afterwards. At night, one of those brachas is long, right? Ve'emuna, emes ve'emuna, which then ends with Go'al Yisrael, is a longer bracha, whereas Ashkivenu, which ends with Shomer Amo Yisrael, is a smaller bracha. Fine. Malkum shamu laharich in yotzei lekatzer. Okay, in a place, right, a bracha that they said is going to be a longer bracha, you can't make it a shorter bracha. Okay. And a bracha that is supposed to, right, and lekatzer in yotzei laharich, a bracha that's supposed to be shorter, you can't make longer. Okay, let's see if the Gemara is going to say anything about this long bracha and short bracha. But anyways, maybe it's saying like, I don't know, you can't, cut out part of like emes ve'emuna or something and just make it a shorter bracha. I'm not really sure. This I know what it means. So if it's a bracha that it's supposed to have another bracha at the end. So basically, for example, if you say Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam shehakol niyeh b'dvaro, that is a bracha without a conclusion, without a concluding bracha. It's just one line. So that is no chatima. Whereas something like ala michya, right, where we say after we eat like grains or something like that, so that's Berachos Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam ala michya v'kakala da 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 da. We have the whole body of the bracha, and then at the end again we then say Berachos Hashem ala aretz v'michya. That is a chasima. That has a conclusion, like a concluding bracha. So a bracha that has a concluding bracha built into it, like ala michya, you have to say. You can't just not say that concluding bracha. And a bracha that doesn't have a concluding bracha built into it, like Berachos Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam shakol niyeh b'dvaro, you can't add some kind of like text that then ends with Berachos Hashem something else. Okay. My mevarach. Fine. So the Gemara wants to know, what is this bracha that you make before Kriyat Shema in the morning? So Amar Rabbi Yaakov, Amar Rabbi Oshaya. So it says Rabbi Yaakov in the name of Rabbi Oshaya, yotzei or uvore choshech. Oh. It says in the so the bracha that you say is yotzei or uvore choshech, and then we know of course oseh shalom uvore es akol. So the Gemara asks, lema yotzei or uvore noga. Why don't you say he who creates light and creates noga is like some kind of like brighter light. I think maybe it's brightness or something like that, right? So why not instead of darkness say brightness? And we're going to see in a minute what brightness has to do with anything. So kedichsiv kedamrinan, right? It says no, because we base the body of the pasuk, of the bracha. We base the text of the bracha based on the pasuk in Yeshaya, where it comes from, where it says yotzei or uvore choshech. So therefore, our bracha we say yotzei or uvore choshech, not yotzei or uvore noga. Fine. But the Gemara says, well, that's not really true, because Elameata oseh shalom uvore ra mikamrin kidichsiv. The pasuk says, right, oseh shalom uvore ra. Right, what this pasuk means, the pasuk in Yeshaya, it says God creates light for the Jews and creates darkness for Babylon, creates peace for the Yidden and creates evil for Babylon. Okay, so don't just tell me that we say yotzei or uvore choshech as opposed to yotzei or uvore noga because we want to be true to the pasuk, because the very next words in that same bracha are oseh shalom uvore es hakol, right? Yet that pasuk would be oseh shalom uvore ra. So we're really not being true to the pasuk, right? So second line of the Gemara, elameata oseh shalom uvore ra mikamrinan kidichsiv. Are we saying that part like it's written? Elaksiv ra v'karinan hakol. Right? It says in the pasuk ra, yet we say oseh shalom uvore es hakol. So lishna ma'alya, right? So the Gemara answers that that's because we want to keep things positive, right? Oseh shalom uvore ra. Evil is kind of like a negative thing, almost like we've seen like a bunch of times whenever we want to like talk about cursing the Jews, we say son'eim shayisrael, we keep things euphemistic. So here also we want to keep things euphemistic. Instead of oseh shalom uvore ra, we say oseh shalom uvore es hakol. Very nice. Well, hachanami lema noga lishna ma'alya. And so here also, right, why don't we say yotzei or uvore noga, right? He creates light and he creates brightness, right? And that's why the suggestion for noga, because it's ma'alya, right? Choshech, darkness, that's not as geshmak, but noga, brightness, that's very geshmak. So ela amarava kedei lahazkir midas yom balayla umidas layla bayom. So Rava says no. The reason why we specifically say yotzei or uvore choshech is because we want to, in the morning, which is when we're making this bracha, we also want to mention the night. And also at night, in Hamar Varav, when we say golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or, we also mention, right, light at night as well. So we want in the morning to mention the nighttime, and at the nighttime we want to mention the day as well. So Marava, I'm going to read that again. Kedei lahazkir midas yom balayla, right, to mention, we want to be mentioning part of the day at night. Umidas layla bayom, and we also want to be mentioning part of the night during the day. Bishlam midas layla bayom. I understand mentioning part of the night during the day, kedamrinan, as we just said, right? Yotzei or uvore choshech, right? That he creates light and he creates darkness. Ela midas yom balayla hechi mishkachas. Where do we find mentioning the day at night? So Amar Abaye, golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or, that at night we say that he rolls away light from darkness and he rolls away darkness from light. Okay, very good. So we see that both in the morning in that first bracha and at night in the first bracha of Kriyat Shema, by both of those we mention day and night. Fine. V'idach ma'hi, what is the second bracha that we read before Kriyat Shema? Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, Ahava Rabba. So Rabbi Yehuda says the name of Shmuel, that Rav Yehuda says the name of Shmuel, that it is Ahava Rabba, that is the bracha. Just a quick note about Rav versus Rebbe. Whenever it says Rav by the name of a rabbi, it means that it's an Amora who lived in Bavel. If it says Rebbe, it can be one of two things, either a Tana or it can be an Amora who lived in Eretz Yisrael. So just pointing that out. So Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, it's significant that it's Rav Yehuda, not Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda would be the Tana, Rabbi Yehuda Bar Ilai. Rav Yehuda is the Amora, Rav Yehuda. Okay, so Rav Yehuda says in the name of Shmuel that this is Ahava Rabba. That's the bracha. V'chein Orile Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Pedas Brei, and this is how Rabbi Elazar taught his son Rabbi Pedas. Ahava Rabba, that the second bracha is Ahava Rabba. Tanya Nami Yachi, we also learn it in a brisa like this. Ein omim Ahavas Olam ela Ahava Rabba. We don't say Ahavas Olam, we say Ahava Rabba. Rabbanan Amrei Ahavas Olam. But the Rabbanan say, no, it's Taka Ahavas Olam, it's not Ahava Rabba. V'chein hu omer, similarly it says in the Pasuk in Yirmiyah, V'ahavas Olam Ahavtich, and I have loved you with eternal love. Alkem Shachti Chased, that is why I continue to give to you kindness. Okay. Amar Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Oh, so says Rav Yehuda in the name of Shmuel. Hishkim l'shanos ad shelokar Kriyas Shema. If he woke up early to learn before reading Kriyas Shema, okay. Tzarich levarech, right? So he needs to say Berachos HaTorah. So he wakes up early. He can't yet read Kriyas Shema, and he wants to learn. So before he can learn, he has to say Berachos HaTorah. We're going to talk about what the Berachos HaTorah are in a minute. Mishakara Kriyas Shema ein tzarich levarech. But once already he has read Kriyas Shema, if he has not yet said Berachos HaTorah, he no longer needs to say Berachos HaTorah. Shekvar niftar be'ahava Rabbah, because when he said Ahava Rabbah before Kriyas Shema, so much of the content of that bracha is very similar to that of the Berachos HaTorah, right? It talks about v'seim b'libeinu l'binu l'havanu l'haskil l'shma l'umod l'lamed, all that kind of stuff. Now, I don't think it's as simple as that. I think there's a little bit more to look into it. I once heard, then you're going to do that right before Shema, and then you're going to say Shemona Esrei, and immediately after Shemona Esrei, you should say the psukim that we say after Berachos HaTorah, which are like, Yivrechach Hashem v'yishmerecha, and then like Elu Dvarim. Like, it's not as simple as that, but it is true. If you're interested, maybe check out the Shulchan Aruch over there. Amar Rav Huna, l'mikra tzarich levarach, u'l'midrash ein tzarich levarach. Oh, so Rav Huna says that if you want to learn, mikra is Tanakh. If you want to learn, or maybe even just really like the Chamisha Chumshei Torah, not exactly sure, but for that you need to say Berachos HaTorah. But if you want to learn midrash is like halacha, right? Midrash halacha, Mechilta, Sifrei, things like that, the Medrash Halacha, where they take a pasuk and they learn out halacha from it, so that you do not need to make Berachos HaTorah on. Okay, Rabbi Elazar Amar leMikra uLeMidrash tzarich levarach, leMishnah ein tzarich levarach. Whereas Rabbi Elazar says no, for Mikra and for Midrash you do have to say Berachos HaTorah. However, for Mishnayos, if you want to learn Mishnah, you don't have to say Berachos HaTorah. Ein tzarich levarach. For Rabbi Yochanan Amar af leMishnah nami tzarich levarach. Rabbi Yochanan says that no, even for Mishnayos you have to say Berachos HaTorah. But to learn Gemara, you do not need to say Berachos HaTorah. And Rashi says, what is Talmud? I'm reading Rashi, right? That Talmud is the main, what we're doing, Talmud, it is the main part of the Torah, because that is ultimately where Hora'ah, we're teaching, where halacha comes from. Right? Tainu hainu svaras taimei Mishnah. What is Talmud? It is giving the reasons behind the Mishnayos, v'teirutze Mishnayos, hasoso zoaso, v'chasuri mechsa, right? And answering Mishnayos that argue on each other and filling in things that are missing. That's what Talmud is. It's all of the discussion of like Mishnayos and Brises and asking questions, giving answers, all that stuff. That is Talmud. And Rabbi Yochanan says that for that you actually do not need to make a bracha. Berachos HaTorah, Rava Amar Af L'Talmud Tzarich Levarech, and Rava says that no, even for Gemara you also need to say Berachos HaTorah. So essentially you have to say Berachos HaTorah for everything. And I'll also just mention one other note. You'll notice that on these past two lines, the previous line had brackets and I read them, and this line had parentheses and I skipped it. In general, when you're learning Gemara, the brackets you read, the parentheses you skip. Now, the Amar of Chia Bar Ashi, and Rava proves that for Talmud you need to say Berachos HaTorah, because of Chia Bar Ashi said, Zimnin Sagin, many times, Havokim Nakame Dirav L'Sanuyi B'Pirkin B'Sifra Devei Rav. There were many times when I was sitting by the Amora Rav, and we were learning together Sifra Devei Rav. Sifra Devei Rav is basically a Medrash Halacha on the Sefer Vayikra in the Torah, right? Which is where we learn at halachos of korbanos and things like that. And it says, "Havamaktim v'kamashi yadei uvarich umasnilam pirkin." What he would do is he would wash his hands, netilas yadayim probably, uvarich, and then he would say Berachos Torah, umasnilan pirkin, and then he would teach us. And now this sounds like really that you would have to say Berachos Torah for medrash, right? Which would sound like Rabbi Lazar's opinion, right? But it wouldn't necessarily teach me that you have to make Berachos Torah for Gemara. So I actually looked up in the Sefaria, in the English translation in the Sefaria, and he said that basically because Rav was going to be explaining the Medrash Halacha and I guess asking questions and making it into a whole shir, so it was kind of more similar to Gemara in that he was discussing it and asking questions and things like that, and that's why it's a proof that for Gemara you need to say Berachos Torah. Fine. Weiter. My Mevarich. What are these Berachos Torah that we've been talking about? Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel. Asher kiddishanu b'mitzvosav, that he has made us holy with his mitzvahs, v'tzivanu, and he commanded us, la'asok b'dvei Torah, to be busy with the words of Torah. Okay, very good. Now, Rabbi Yochanan Messiah ba'hachi, and Rabbi Yochanan would be Messiah, right? If we remember from our Mishnah a few minutes ago, we said some brachos have a siyum, some brachos have like more content and then another bracha at the end of the bracha, but it's all one bracha. Rabbi Yochanan would add on sort of a second part to this bracha with its own bracha at the end. What was that? God, please make the words of your Torah sweet in our mouths, and in the mouths of all of your nation Israel. And may we, and our children, and all the little children of your nation Israel, we should all know your name, and be busy with your Torah. And then here we see that there's another bracha now that he adds at the end. Baruch atah Hashem hamalamed Torah la'amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, God, who teaches the Torah to his nation Israel. There's some really beautiful stuff here. Rashi says on Harivna Hashem Elokeinu, God, please make our the Torah sweet. So ye'arvu aleinu la'asok b'hem me'ahava. They should be so sweet that we should want to study Torah out of love, right? When something is sweet, you love it. So we want Torah, the words of Torah to be sweet, so you should love it. Now, Shmuley Perkel, the other day I asked the question, right, because we said near defal ladas Hashem, you should run to go to shul, and I said, why does ladas Hashem mean to pray? So Shmuley Perkel gave an awesome answer, which is that ladas, which is to know, which also often ladas in Torah means to connect. So when you pray, you're also connecting to God. I wonder if also we can say over here that, right, we say that by studying Torah, right, that will be kulanu yodei shemecha, that by studying the Torah we will know your name better, right? And we can see now the connection between knowledge to know God and studying Torah. And we kept on seeing the other day connections between a few days ago, like connections between prayer and studying Torah as well. Maybe because like in prayer there is parts of Torah as well. But we saw that, of course, like with the 10 people that are praying, God is with them. No, 10 people that are, praying, God is with them. And we asked the question, but don't we already know that by 3 people studying Torah, God is with them? So we were like equating those. That's what I was thinking anyway. So maybe like the fact that, we see that you can know God better by studying Torah, and Torah is kind of equating with prayer. So maybe that's how we can know that Ladat is also connected to prayer. Anyways, let's move on. Fine. Rav Hamnuna Amar, and Rav Hamnuna said, Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, that he chose us from all of the nations, v'nosan lanu es Torah, and he gave us his Torah. Baruch atah Hashem nosen Torah, blessed are you, God, the giver of the Torah. Now, the Gemara says, Amar Rav Hamnuna zohe mu'ula shebebrachos. Rav Hamnuna says that this is the best bracha. Obviously, he says it's the best bracha. He's the one who said it. So there's actually a note here that changes it. That the Rif apparently says v'had Rav Hamnuna mu'ula shebebrachos, meaning Rav Hamnuna is not tooting his own horn. Basically, the Gemara is saying that the statement of Rav Hamnuna is the greatest of all of them. And then he also adds, and Rav Papa says, Hilkach leminu lekulo, therefore we should say all of them, which I also don't necessarily understand, because if we're saying that Rav Hamnuna is the best of all of them, then we should just say that one. Why is it therefore we should say all of them? But I don't know. I guess maybe since they're all great, therefore we should say all of them. Maybe because Rav Hamnuna was like maybe a lesser known Amora than like Rabbi Yochanan and Shmuel, so therefore even though his is awesome, but that's also Rabbi Yochanan and Shmuel, so let's just say all of them. It wouldn't be right to just say his and not theirs. I don't know. Maybe. Anyways, Tanan Hassam, we learn over there. Where's over there? In Masechta Tamid. It says over there, Amar loim ha-memuna berchu bracha achas ve'im barchu. It says that the Memuna was the Sgan Kohen Gadol, right? He was like the deputy Kohen Gadol. I believe that's accurate. And in the morning, they would basically prepare the sacrifice that they would make in the morning. They would cut it up and stuff, put it on the Mizbeach. And then it says that then the Sagan, they would go to the Lishkat HaGazis, which I think is where the Sanhedrin would go. I think. I would have to look that up. And anyways, then he would say, Berchu brachachas, bless one blessing. And we don't know what this one blessing is. We're going to have to figure that out. But he would say, bless one blessing, ve'im berchu, and they would bless that blessing. V'karu aseres adibros, and then they would read the 10 Commandments. Shema vayom, Shema vayomer. They would say the first paragraph of Shema, the second paragraph of Shema, and the third one of Tzitzis. Uvarchu es ha'am gimel brachos, and they would bless not the nation, but with the nation. 3 brachos, emes v'yatziv, that's one bracha, which is the bracha after Kriyat Shema. Va'avoda, they would say the bracha of Ritzei Hashem Elokeinu b'amcha Yisrael v'sfil hasam she'eh, that bracha. Uvirkas kohanim, and they would also then do the blessing of the priests. Uvishabbos mosifim bracha achas l'mishmar yotzei, and on Shabbos they would add an additional bracha for the mishmar that is leaving. What are the mishmaros? The mishmaros there were basically 24 groups of kohanim, and each group had basically 2 weeks a year that they would work in the temple, but 1 week at a time. So there would be basically one shift of 24 mishmaros and then another shift of 24 mishmaros, and basically each one would get, throughout the course of the year, 2 weeks. They would come in on Shabbos and they would leave on Shabbos. So every Shabbos, when one mishmar was leaving, they would make an additional bracha. They would bless the mishmar that was coming. My bracha achas, what is this one bracha that they would bless in the Beis HaMikdash, the Kohanim? So Kihad Rabbi Abba, Rabbi Yossi bar Abba, Iklu lahu Asra. So Rabbi Abba and Rabbi Yossi bar Abba, I guess Rabbi Yossi, his son, they were traveling together, and they visited a certain place, Bo'minayu, and the people saw, oh wow, there are rabbis that came here, so they asked them a question. And actually, interestingly, I once read this book, I think it was called My Father's Paradise. He was talking about the Jews living in, what's that place in Iran? There's like all that fighting going on now, like in Syria. I'm forgetting what it's called. The Kurdim, the Kurdish people. Anyways, so how did they were like kind of they like held this tradition for such a long time, and how did they learn kind of thing? So people would come to town and they would ask them questions, which is interesting. So and that's how they would find out information. So basically, so Rabbi Abba and Rabbi Yossi bar Abba visited to a certain town. And so Ba'u Minayu, so they said, oh, there's rabbis here, so let's ask them our question, which is, my bracha achas, what is this one bracha? I guess they were learning Masechta Tamid, they got the bracha achas, and they didn't know, so they held that thought, and now this was their opportunity when these rabbis came, and guess what? Lo hava biyadayu, these rabbis didn't know. V'asu v'shailu the Rav Masna. So then Rabbi Abba and Rabbi Yossi bar Abba went and asked Rav Masna, Lo hava biyadeh, and he didn't know either. Asu shailu the Rav Yehuda, so then they went and asked Rav Yehuda, Amalu hachi amar Shmuel. Rav Yehuda said, okay, this is what Shmuel said. Ahava Rabbah. What was the one bracha that they blessed in the temple, the Kohanim, when they were like, in the middle of their service? It was Ahava Rabbah. Ve Amar Rabbi Zrika, Amar Rabbi Ami, Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, Yotzer Or. So Rabbi Zrika says the name of Rabbi Ami, says the name of Shimon ben Lakish, that it was actually, right, quotes Reish Lakish as saying that it was Yotzer Or, it wasn't Ahava Rabbah. Okay. Also Rav Yitzchak bar Yosef Amar, so when Rav Yitzchak bar Yosef came, he said, Had Rabbi Zrika lav beferish itmar ela michlala itmar. That which Rabbi Zrika said, that Reish Lakish says that it was Yotzer Or, i.e. the first bracha before Kriyat Shema, Reish Lakish never actually said that himself. Rather, he said something else from which we imply that he would say that one bracha was Yotzer Or. And just as an interesting tidbit, Rav Yitzchak bar Abba was the same person who said on Daf Tes Amud Aleph that which Rabbi Acha, what was his name? That which Rabbi Acha bar Chanina said that the halacha is like Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, who said the name Rabbi Akiva regarding like when he says it Kriyat Shema 2 times during the day. That was also Rabbi Yitzchak bar Abba, who says that he didn't say it explicitly, he just said it from an implication. So it's interesting that the both times that we're seeing Rabbi Yitzchak bar Abba, it's for him to say that which so and so said, he never said it explicitly, it was only implied. Anyways, so Zeo El Miklala Itmar. So he never said explicitly, it was just implied. What did he say from which we implied that the one bracha was Yotzer Or? So the Amar Zrika, Amar Bi'ami, Amar B'Shimon ben Lakish, Zos Omeres, Berachos ein ma'akvos zo as zo. Period. That's what that's what Rish Lakish said. Rish Lakish said that from the fact that they were making just one bracha, right? And so at this point, we're assuming that the one bracha is one of the brachas of Kriyas Shema, okay? And we're saying that from the fact that we're just saying one of these brachos, that means that they aren't ma'akev each other. What does it mean they aren't ma'akev each other? They don't prevent one another. Meaning, if I only said one of the two brachos, it's okay. I'm still yotzei. It's not, like, well, you didn't say the other one, so the first one doesn't count. No, even if you say one of the brachas, then that's enough. We don't say the fact that you didn't say the second one basically disqualifies the first bracha. So now, I Amar, 2 lines from the bottom of the page, Bishlama yotzei or, havu amri. So to say that this teaches us that the brachas are not ma'akev each other, they're not dependent on each other, so that makes sense if you say that the one bracha that they're making is the first bracha, is the bracha of yotzei or, right? Right? Hainu de brachos ein ma'achvos zo as zo, dlo ka amrei ahava rabba. Right, because if you're saying yotzei or, because the implication is that there's only a certain time that you could say yotzei or. You can't say yotzei or if it is too early, right? So if they're saying yotzei or, then they can certainly already say ahava rabba, right? And from the fact that they're only saying yotzei or and they're not saying ahava rabba, and that seems to be totally cool, that means that saying yotzei or works, and they're not ma'akev each other. The fact that you didn't say ahava rabba really is not a big deal. Eli amat ahava rabba havu amri. But if you say that the one bracha that they were making was ahava rabba, well, my brachos ein ma'akvos zo as zo. That's not necessarily a proof that the brachos are not dependent on each other, because Dilma, maybe they are dependent on each other. So why are you only saying ahava rabba? Well, because you're going to say yotzei or later. Right? Hai dilo amr yotzei or mishum dilo mata zman yotzei or, because it was too early. Because we know that the mishmaros, right, would read Kriyas Shema a little bit earlier than everybody else. Right? It says in the Mishnah, it says in Yoma that if you read Kriyas Shema at the time that the mishmar people read Kriyas Shema, you're not yotzei because they read too early. Right? So if you're going to say that the one bracha that they were saying was ahava rabba, maybe they're only saying that bracha was because it was still too early to say yotzei or. Right? But when the time of yotzei or would come a little bit later, they would then say yotzei or. So the brachas are in fact ma'akev each other, just they don't have to be done at the same exact time. So therefore, in order for Reish Lakish's opinion of the fact that the brachas are not ma'akev each other to make sense, it must be that the bracha that they were saying was yotzei or and completely ignoring ahava rabba. Fine. Ve'i michlala. And now the Gemara asks, "V'imi chlala mai." So when Rav Yitzchak Bar Yosef says that, by the way, Rish Lakish never said that. He said something else from which we imply that. Who cares? So if we imply it, we imply it. Like, why do you have to be such a stickler? Okay, so we didn't actually say it, we implied it. So we implied it. Now we know. So the Gemara says the imi chlala, because no, if we just go based on that assumption, that we're assuming that because he said that brachos na ma'akev, that it must be yotzei or, le'olam ahava rabba havu amri, because I'll make the argument that no, really they were saying ahava rabba. What do you mean? But then maybe they were saying yotzei or later, so how is that a proof that brachos are na ma'akev? So v'chimata zman yotzei or havu amrile, and guess what? When the time for yotzei or came, they did in fact say that. Well then wouldn't that be implying that brachos are ma'akev? Umay brachos ein ma'akvos zo azo seder brachos. What does it mean that the brachos are not ma'akev? It means that the order are not ma'akev. You could first read ahava rabba and then later read yotzei or, and that would be fine. So therefore, it's not necessarily super clear to argue that Reish Lakish's opinion is in fact that the bracha was yotzei or. It could have very well been ahava rabba, and his thing of saying that they're not ma'akev each other means that the order isn't dependent on each other. So I guess that's probably a bigger argument to say that this bracha achas is probably yotzei or, because we have that other opinion which says it explicitly, right? No, it was probably ahava rabba, because Shmuel says explicitly ahava rabba, and Reish Lakish it's kind of unclear if it was yotzei or ahava rabba. All right, thanks everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you have any questions or anything. Peace.